Hi everyone, back home in the 107th District. Hope everyone's having a good week. I'm up here in Hartford as your state representative, proudly representing all of you. I just want to give you all an update of what we're doing moving in to the next couple weeks or so of session that's remaining. We finish the session on June 5th, so there's only a few weeks left, if not less, until we finish up. We still haven't done a budget. And that is concerning to me because I want to make sure that what happened 2 years ago when we passed the budget up here in October never happens again. A lot of our municipalities were critically waiting for educational funding and other municipal funding to come in so they could properly set their budgets and properly hire the individuals they need to hire in their schools. That's something that can never happen again. So I've been pushing my colleagues on my side of the aisle as well as across the aisle to get something done very soon and prior to the June 5th deadline so the towns can know what to expect when it comes down to municipal funding. So far what's been proposed is a budget that came out of the Appropriations Committee and a budget that came from the governor. Both of those budgets I object to, I would not support. I want to work with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to hopefully come up with a bipartisan solution. We've done it in back-to-back years and I'm hopeful that we can do it again. The reason I don't support the budgets that have been proposed is there's significant funding cuts for school funding to towns like Brookfield, to towns like Bethel. There's also a shift in the teacher pension funding to towns all across the state. To towns like Bethel and Brookfield, we're talking a couple $100,000 at least to make up for that funding adjustment. That's a lot of money that we could be utilizing for our students in our schools, as opposed to going back up to Hartford to pay for an obligation that frankly we made as a state many years ago, almost 80 years ago at this point. We should hold firm to that agreement and we should be paying that total, not the towns. That money the towns are getting should be utilized for our students, not to pay for an obligation that we as a state should be paying for. Another thing that's alarming is a wide array of taxes, including taxes on hedge funds and in different areas like that. I have an objection to that because I really think that we're shrinking our revenue base. If we continue to add taxes on to our hardworking residents here in this state, they're simply just going to leave. We're already seeing it. Our economy is last in nearly almost every single economic category. We lost 1,300 jobs just last March. We continue funding more mandates, or placing more mandates on businesses here in the state, moving in a wrong direction in that area. We need to be doing everything we can to be cutting spending, finding efficiencies in our budget so we can balance our budget based upon cutting the bureaucracy here in Hartford, as opposed to one, cutting from municipalities, and two, just simply taxing the hardworking residents of the state more. So that's something that I'm certainly not willing to support. I look forward to working with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to hopefully come up with a bipartisan solution to mitigating our deficit and, most importantly, properly funding our local schools. The other thing that I also want to talk about is tolls. That's a continuing topic here in Hartford. There was a toll rally last weekend, and it's a continuing discussion of when we're going to be voting on it. I can tell you wholeheartedly that the plan as of now that potentially may be coming before us, I will be voting no, and I do not support. Tolls from a parochial standpoint in the Brookfield, Bethel, and Danbury area would have a critical negative impact on many of our local residents. Interstate 84, like all of you know back home, is Main Street. It's our thoroughfare to get back and forth to the doctor's office, to get back and forth to restaurants, to get back and forth to a short trip to work, and we'll be paying tolls every step of the way. That's simply unfair as compared to places like the Mass Pike or the New York Turnpike, where it's almost strictly a commuter thoroughfare. That's not the case in Interstate 84, and because of that, I think we'll take a huge impact negatively in our local area and our local residents paying a very high burden of the tolls. So for that reason alone, I would not be able to support it. Also, I have a problem with the fact that we here in our state government over the last 30 years has been taking your tax money and essentially wasting it. We should have been spending that money then on transportation infrastructure. So I do support a plan to decrease the bonding of pet projects, so to say, and utilizing that funding exclusively towards transportation infrastructure projects. That will create millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars over the span of the next 30 years to expend, in addition to what we already have in the books coming from the gas taxes, to spend exclusively towards transportation projects without having to place a huge burden of tolls on our local residents and also statewide. So that's kind of a wrap up of where we are. I look forward to continuing working on many of the bills that are coming before us. I look forward to hearing from you. As always, feel free to reach out to me if anything that concerns you, of giving any thoughts or ideas of ways we can move forward as a state, as a local area. I look forward to seeing you back home in the district very soon. Thanks.